them. Hopefully I get everything right. Cite my notes so I don't forget anything. So Pastor Eugene wanted me to share why I'm at this church, why I followed my husband Rob. Let's see. Well, there was a lot of resistance at first and I was totally thrown for a loop when he said he was moving, even though he reminded me this morning. He's like, well, we talked about it. Even the pastors talked about it. I'm like, what? But he moved here in 2017, and there was like a lot, and I think it started after the revival he went to in 2016. He felt led to move to the church, and then I guess there was talk, but I'm like, oh yeah, Rob's not gonna do it, because he was like all talk, no action for a lot of things in his life. Before. So that changed. So it totally threw me for a loop when I got a call from his boss.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case people don't know who Rob is.
Oh, yeah, there's Rob.
Wave. All right.
So I got a call from his boss, and out of the blue, and he's like, Heidi, do you know that Rob quit his job? And I'm like, what? He did what? So then I'm calling Rob, I'm like, what did you do? And I'm thinking, okay, there's no benefits, no money coming in. What's he doing? And his boss is like, well, he said he's moving to California. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, that did not go down too well. And I know at some point I threw keys at him. He's right in the forehead. That was, yeah. He was reading my testimony. I think he changed the word throwing to punched. But I'm like, I didn't punch him. But yeah, so I was really upset because I thought he was like tearing the family apart and, going behind my back, telling like the pastor or just having conversations with the pastors because Rob wasn't communicating anything to me. And I think even if Rob did give me a warning, and I actually understood it, he couldn't win either way. He knew I was going to be mad that he was leaving. And so I felt like our trust was broken and I didn't know what he was doing. But I know I was embarrassed to tell my friends that Rob was moving for a church. Because I'm like, that's just not normal at all. And he moved for jobs, which is fine because that's responsible, but not going all the way to California with no job, and it's very expensive. So let's see, and then and he finally did leave. He had a window of opportunity where I was like, okay, fine, go, and he jumped on it. So he was out of there. So then I kept calling him, and I'm like, no, come back. But yeah, he wasn't coming back. He left. He was gone. And then during that time, I had lots of what I thought were my friends in Michigan telling me, oh, Rob's seeing other women, or he doesn't care about you. And then I'm like, okay, I don't think Rob would see other women because he knows better. He knows that God would strike him, and just not him at all. So then that kind of got me thinking, and I'm like, it just doesn't seem right. And then, he was sending money and, talking to us every day, cared about the kids still, and, wanted to be a part of their life. So I'm like, hey, that's different, so he must love us. And then, as some of you know, you probably saw me on, the Hangouts or whatever. He'd call me, or then I'd be staring at the ceiling, or his phone would be on the table. He'd walk away, and then random people would just poke their heads over the phone. So who knows? And I'm like, hi, where did Rob go? Where did he go? But and during that time, I think I started getting jealous also because Rob was having fun at the church, and then I was stuck with with the responsibilities of taking care of the kids and everything. So it kind of got me more mad. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to do my thing in Michigan, and I'll be fine. And so it was just a lot of mixed emotions while I was in Michigan and he was here. And then God started working on me, I think, during that time also. Because I think I relied on Rob for a lot of things, like providing for the family. And I would get mad at him now looking back that I thought it was that he had to do everything, but really it's God doing everything and not all Rob. So I was trusting in the wrong person. So I trusted in Rob, and yeah, it was not good. So, and then, let's see, I think I got off track here. So hopefully I don't repeat myself. Let's see. And then when Rob came home for Christmas, I saw, Rob was dressing nicer, and I was like, oh, who is that guy? I'm like, wow, do I love you? Do I hate you? I don't know what I do. I was like, again, mixed emotions. I'm like, I don't know how to feel towards it because I wanted to hate him because he left. But then I'm like, oh, well, you're doing good in California. You're working hard and trying to, get things ready and everything. And then he just wanted to go back to California too during Christmas. That was a whole nother issue. but it was good that he, came back and everything, and just seeing those little changes, how he was growing and everything while he was out here. Like he had to do wash his own clothes and everything. I'm like, wow, he can actually take care of himself. Wow. Just a totally different side of Rob and everything that I never really got to see while we were dating and while we were married. So that was neat. It was like he was becoming a different person. so it was good to see. So I was like, oh, what's going on with him? California might be a good thing for him, possibly. And then I was still really scared to fully commit to coming out here and following Rob, because I just couldn't tell people, like he told me, oh, I'm moving for a church. I mean, they think I'm crazy, So I'm like, okay, well, if I get a job first, that'll make more sense and make it a little bit easier to, let my parents know and everything. And then we waited for the girls to get done with school also, because I'm like, you just can't pull kids out of school. You have to be responsible, and, you just can't, I never knew that you could just do something for God and be like, who cares what other people think? That was not in my thinking, that's normal thinking. You can't be normal with God, so you have to be different. So I was really wishy-washy still up to the time that we moved. I had a backup plan, which I think I told Rob, even when I was here, I was like, well, if things don't work out, I'm just going to move back, and then I can blame you. It's going to be all your fault. So just to let you know, that's what I'm going to tell people. So if it doesn't work, so I figured, well, there's my plan A. That was my plan A, if it didn't work out. And then part of me also was like, well, if this is a God thing, I don't want to miss out either. So just, again, mixed emotions and going back and forth. And so I'm like, okay. And then things started not to work out for me in Michigan, as Rob and David last weekend said I was getting smoked out of Michigan. I was literally. So when I started telling people, Rob's doing really good in California, he has a good job, he's still sending us money and everything, helping us with everything. They were kind of like, oh, okay. They started to change on me. They were like, oh, okay. Because when he first left, it was like, oh, Heidi, if you need anything, let us know or whatever. And then it was like, oh, Rob's helping you? Oh, okay. You used to love him? What? And he left you, And I'm like, no, it's not like that. And everything. And they just, I thought, the people who were my friends, they really, just kind of wanted like a sad story and to feel sorry for you. And, that's when I started seeing that change. And I'm like, well, there's really, do I stay here, be miserable while other people are happy, or do I just go? And, I have my backup plans, so I'll be okay either way. And it's a win-win for me. Either it works or, I just move back and tell everyone it's Rob's fault. And blame him. So when I got here, I was still, in that mindset, like, oh yeah, this is horrible, and then it's cold weather, and I'm like, what? This is California. I thought it was supposed to be sunny all the time, and it's like cold, and then there's the smoke and everything from the fires. I'm like, okay, this is not exactly what I thought, but I did come out here with a job, so that helped. I was like, okay, as long as I have a plan, I'm being responsible, I'll take care of myself if this doesn't work. And and I figured, well, I guess I need Rob a little bit more than I thought, because it's better with him than without. So, yes, even at the weird times. When I'm mad at you, I still love you. But Hey, so and then Rob takes me to this church, which, I was mad at the pastors because I forgot the one part. So in between, I did say some choice words to the pastors over the phone. So I apologize. Because I'm like, they're trying to take my husband away from me, That's what I was thinking. I'm like, why are you trying to tear my family apart? And which they weren't. So they obviously see the bigger picture. And, Rob had the wisdom to, move and make that move, and then, to see and trust in God that there was a bigger picture that we just didn't see. So I came here, and I'm like, oh, it's a small church. And they're really nice. And Rob took me to some churches before in Michigan, and they were small, and the people were really nice. And then before you leave, they're like, Heidi, we're praying for you. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. So I'm like, okay, what's the catch here? We're gonna start. So I'm like, so just with in general, small churches and, the people being really nice. I'm like, okay, Rob, what are we doing here? What's the catch? Or whatever. But at this church, there is no catch. So there's just lots of love, and everyone is just really, really nice. So, and they're like my second family, or my first family, whichever. So they just rank right up there with the first family. There we go. So no, this church is just awesome. And then so like a couple weeks, I think it was a couple weeks, I'm not sure. I was receiving impartation because I was still trying to resist God, which I didn't realize I was doing all my life until I came here, and then receiving the impartation after church, just letting everything go, and because it's like you can't. I felt like I couldn't freely worship God, like you're holding it in. And then but during the service, you're like, oh, I just want to cry. I just want to worship you, Lord. But no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to let it out and everything. But just letting that out and being like, okay, yes, I can just worship you. And it's okay to just cry and let it all out. It was the most amazing feeling ever. And I'm like, amen, where has this been my whole life? Oh my gosh. And then just being like, oh, Lord, I'm so sorry for, not letting you in. And it's like, I let you in, but I didn't let you have every part of me, especially my heart and holding on to what I thought was normal, for, people to worship, because I grew up Lutheran. So, oh, you don't raise your hands, you don't hold it in, you don't do anything. So you just repeat after me. So that's all you do is just follow directions, repeat after me, stand up, sit down, everything. But just letting God in, that was a big thing for me. And then it was like, oh, so this is what the church is about. This is why Rob wanted to be here. This is why. So it's amazing being here. Then just looking back, I see, I was trying to control Rob a lot. So, not letting him move to California, just because more I was scared and just thinking about what people would think of us. especially in having the fear that what if it doesn't work out? And so now it's like I have the fear of what if the fear of God going, okay, God can take this all away at any time, So it's changed to a better fear, I guess you could say, not the fear of fear and worry. But yeah, and I'm glad that Rob did make the decision, because in Michigan we were just very complacent and just kind of going on with our life, and yes, getting bigger as the days went on. Too bad I don't have to be for picture of Rob. Yeah, that would be fun. A little chubby. But anyways, but yeah, I'm glad that because who knows where we would be. Our marriage probably would be a disaster. Our kids would be a disaster probably also. But yeah, I'm just really glad to be here. I can see how God worked through everything, even though I wasn't fully submitted in coming here, even during the whole journey of getting here. And then I thought it seemed like the end of the world. And I think you just have to trust God and know that He does think outside of the box. And He likes different, and He likes us to change. So, and just getting to know everyone here and the pastors, it's really a special ministry. I'm just really glad to be here. So every day, so that's awesome. So, yeah, and I think that's about it. I think I covered everything. So, yeah. I don't think I left anything out. So, but oh yeah, real quick. So then Rob reminded me again a couple of weeks ago that he's like, yeah, in Michigan you wanted to take dance lessons, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Now I get the Holy Dance team. So I'm like, amen. So it's just like those little things how you forget, like, oh yeah, God is giving you your heart's desires. Like when you follow Him and you make the right choices and everything, and it's just like those little things. So it's awesome. So, amen.
I will never forget the moment I met you, the moment you called my name, pulled me out of the darkness, gave me a promise to never thirst again. And all that I ever wanted, my heart has found in you. I have tasted life, and nothing satisfies like you do. The fountain nothing satisfies like you do. The fount that won't run dry, nothing satisfies like you do.